Hey everybody, my name is Ty Clark. I am a licensed massage therapist now. I am so excited that you are here because I know how much this is going to improve your health and your chronic pain and your fatigue and whatever you have going on. So I hope you're excited because I am for you, all right? Now let's talk about what Gua Sha is. Gua Sha means to scrape sand. So we're going to be using tools and instruments to help break down these scrapey parts, these sandy parts in our body. And what those are, you can describe it in a couple different ways. If we're talking about Eastern medicine, we're going to be talking about qi when it comes to Gua Sha. So qi is our life force. It is our energy, our blood. It's what runs through us and keeps us healthy. So when we are healthy and happy, our qi runs freely through our body. Everything is in harmony. Our organs are all working together and everything is good. But when we find that we have stress in our life, when things happen, when we have trauma, injuries, what happens to our body is that the qi gets these blockages or stagnation in certain parts. And so if you've ever been to an acupuncturist, they do really the same thing. They're going to be dealing with these blockages of energy. And with Gua Sha, it's going to break down all of those roadblocks and it's going to get everything flowing again and working together. Now, if we're talking about more of a technical, like what we're actually doing, we're going to talk about fascia. And if you're somebody who has been on my YouTube channel, you know all about fascia, but give me a second. So fascia is this stuff that sits underneath your skin and it's on top of your muscles, it's in between your muscles, it's everywhere. It's around your organs, it's just everywhere. If you were to take all of your muscles out and you could take your fascia up and just hang it up, you would just see your body shape. Like it just literally covers your entire body. Now, we used to think that it was just like a connective tissue, right? And it was just there to help out other things. But in the last few years, we've found out that fascia is so important to keep healthy. What happens is when we get stressed out, or we stress it out in any way, like with exercise or life stress or money stress or past emotional stress, any type of stress, our fascia reacts to it subconsciously. And how it reacts is it starts sticking together and it starts sticking down to the muscle. And it creates these blockages in your blood flow. Your blood is flowing through here. Your lymphatic system that's responsible for your immune system flows through here. Your nerve impulses come through here. And what do you think happens when we have everything stuck down and things are not going through? Yeah, so it actually can get dehydrated. When you are scraping and you're hearing these little grainy, sandy parts, that's what dehydrated fascia sounds like. And it sounds kind of nasty, but that's exactly what it is. So with Gua Sha, we go in and we're gonna physically break up those fascial adhesions so all of those things can flow again. When it's stuck, our nervous system starts to overreact and can cause more pain because there's all this metabolic waste that's not making its way out. It's just getting stuck and blocked. And so people with fibromyalgia, you probably have this stuck fascia everywhere, and that usually comes from childhood trauma or some type of trauma in your adult life, which is also good to deal with those, but we're going to deal with the fascia for now. I have fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, and mine is completely managed, and I'm so excited. If you have this, get ready to change your life. Get ready to get your life back. All right, look at a list of, right here, I'm going to show you a list of things that has been used to treat like muscle and joint pain, migraines, chronic fatigue. You can see the list there. But I want to show you like autoimmune diseases, viral infections. It's kind of confusing, like how does it help those things, you know, because we're just dealing with this surface fascia when we're doing these modalities. Western medicine is finally catching up, and Harvard conducted a study on Gua Sha to see the effects of it, and they found that this area can stay hyperperfused with blood, which means it's going to be flooded with blood for up to 2 days, at least 2 hours, but up to 2 days afterwards. So what that means is when your muscle has extra blood going to it, it's going to recover a lot faster. So for all you athletes that want a faster recovery, we want to get that lactic acid out of there. Here, this is your tool. This is what you want to do. Now, the other cool thing that Gua Sha does is it brings in more white blood cells and neutrophils, which are great for your immune system. And they don't just stay in the area, they flow back into your body and they percolate down into your organs and your system. So when the Chinese are talking about how it helps things like flu, viruses, colds, and fevers, it goes internal and it helps boost your immune system. It gives you more fighters to fight the bad guys off. And if you have an autoimmune disease, you can see how this would be really, really beneficial. It can help improve your liver function. It's amazing how it can help our internal organs that way. I just think it's so fascinating. But also with these fascial adhesions, when they're stuck down like that, when you have an injury or pain, that is typically what is going on. When I am working on my clients, I am usually releasing fascia. It's not so much about the muscle, it's about stretching those out, releasing muscles that are stuck together in the middle of fascia. It's incredible. That's usually what's going on. Now, there's not a lot of people out there that I've found that don't have these fascial adhesions somewhere in their body. So that's why we're going to kind of go through your whole body so you can find them. For myself, I want to tell you a little bit about my experience. I used to be a pro athlete, and it was a really amazing time. I got to do Spartan races. I got to travel across the country, and I had a season where it wasn't just the training, it was all the things that were going on in my life. I had 3 kids at the time, and just training hard, just life stresses, it just piled on, and my body all of a sudden did this like switch. It was not the same afterwards. I developed chronic fatigue and this muscle pain when I would work out. I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know how to deal with it. And so after training through a few more races, a few more months, I had to call it quits and I had to try and get better, but stopping actually made it so much worse, which most people find with injuries, they just come back if you don't do some sort of therapy on them, right? Well, with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, discontinuing exercise and movement is so bad for it. It makes it so much worse. And I went for like an entire year with a pretty terrible experience. I used to be this athlete that could run and exercise and train for hours. And all of a sudden, I couldn't clean my house for 15 minutes. I couldn't take care of my kids. I couldn't get out of bed and do anything. It was so life-changing and defeating and depressing. And if you've been there or if you're currently there, I completely understand. But I don't really want to go through the whole thing on how I found that Gua Sha helped this. But when I did, I couldn't believe that something, when my skin was so sensitive, that something that would go in and actually scrape up that fascia would actually help it. It just seemed counterintuitive. But when I found that, I started using it on my other clients and other ones with fibromyalgia, and I found that they were getting similar results. And now I've seen other studies that are coming out with showing that fascial adhesions are the cause of pain and fibromyalgia and injuries. So I have a really deep personal experience with this. And that's why I'm so passionate about giving this back to the world and hopefully finding those people that are going through what I went through or something similar, and giving you back your life, because you deserve it.